Good morning, friends. My name is 𝐿𝐶𝐶, and welcome to Borders and Beyond. In today's podcast, we have Major General Dr. Rajan Kochhar. He's awarded 𝐻𝑆𝐶 medal and he's a PhD as well. And today we're going to talk about the Israel-Iran war escalation and the global consequences. Dr. Rajan has close to 30 years of experience in the Indian Army. He's a strategic thinker, and he is an author of an Amazon bestseller book, Breaking the Chinese Myth. So, Dr. Rajan, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you very much, Chitresh. It's always a pleasure to be with young people and discuss contemporary issues which are bothering the entire nation or the entire world, I would say that.
Thank you, sir. Once again, welcome to the podcast. Sir, I'd like to understand from you how, as an Indian Army man, how to interpret the current Israel-Iran conflict. Do you think there are some learnings for us, particularly because Operation Sindoor is currently at pause? What do you think have been the learnings for us? And also, how do you think the Pakistan would be assessing it, sir?
A very interesting narrative, the opening narrative which you have given in the program. Very important is that where is this war heading? And what are the important lessons to be learned from such wars?
Yes, sir.
First of all, this war is heading to a very, very serious consequence because Israel and United States have jointly planned this entire campaign. The United States is at the back end and Israel is the front end. The entire intelligence, the satellites, the information, the cyber aspects are being given by the United States to Israel in real time. And I would say that this war has been planned since about more than a year or so. The reason why I say that is everything was hinging on this nuclear deal. Now, according to some intelligence reports I was just going through, pre-2019, Iran had a uranium enrichment of 3.67%. and it had only 150 kgs of uranium. Now, the present state, as per the IAEA latest inspection report, states that Iran has got 419 kgs of uranium and the enrichment is in excess of 60%. It also states that Iran is capable of making 23 nuclear warheads or nuclear bombs in a couple of months. Now, if we take this information as the preamble or as the background, that if you have this kind of information that Iran is very close to a nuclear bomb, and United States didn't want this to happen in this region because then the power shifts. You see, ultimately, it is the game of balance of power. And behind Iran, as I told you earlier, that USA was behind Israel. Behind Iran is China and Russia. In the last 10 years, if you study the Iran's missile program, you will find that the entire design of the missile, the entire technology of the missile has been provided by North Korea and China. Today, Iran, rough estimates, possesses more than 10,000 missiles. So even at the rate of firing 200 missiles every day, Iran can stretch this war for a number of weeks or maybe months. So that is the capability of stretching this conflict as far as Iran is concerned. As far as Israel is concerned, Israel has got major constraints. Israel has to operate from a distance of 1500 to 1600 kilometers. To sustain its air force in the air for such long distances would need refueling, maintenance aspects, because there'll be a breakdown of aircraft, because 1500 kilometers up and down is not an easy task on a daily basis. So, and the constraints of the interceptors they have for the air defense system, because once you saturate air defense system, you would require to reload it with interceptors or interceptor missiles. How long can you be able to sustain that momentum? So I want to summarize this, where this war is actually heading. This war is heading maybe for a couple of weeks more. And after that, I presume there will be a containment. And considering the objectives, maybe after 3 weeks, if we presume this war comes to a kind of an end, what would have Israel achieved or US achieved in terms of the nuclear program? In terms of the nuclear program, so far, we are into the 5th day of the war. We haven't, or Israel hasn't been able to degrade to a great extent the nuclear capability or a nuclear bomb capability of Iran, because most of these facilities are in the mountains and they are underground. There was a talk about 𝗲𝗲 and Natanz being the two areas which were hit badly. Yes, you were able to damage the external infrastructure, the power system, the generators, the offices and all those research facilities. At the most, you will delay their program by maybe 6 months to 1 year. Beyond that, I don't think much has been achieved so far, because to penetrate deep into those underground facilities, which are almost 50 to 100 meters underground, you would require bunker busting bombs, you would require bombers like the B-52, which the Americans have. So I would like to conclude the first part of your question saying that unless and until the United States gets into this conflict, Israel does not have the single most capability of finishing the nuclear arsenal of Iran, if that was the aim. The second aim, I presume, is a regime change, because that is being talked about. America has been trying for the last 1 year, since the 2024 elections in Iran, for bringing about a regime change, because you would be aware there was only 41% voter turnout in Iran in these elections. A majority of the people do not like the present government, but they have been hemmed in by the Republican Guard, who is able to whisk away anybody who makes a protest in Iran. So protests and democracy are bygones in Iran, and you cannot stand up and you protest against the government. You will become history. So that part, I think Israel has exploited in obtaining human intelligence, because that pinpoint accuracy in which the military leaders were eliminated, where the nuclear scientists were eliminated through loitering ammunition drones, is a reflection on the intelligence network which Israel has been able to establish within Iran in terms of human intelligence. And that is why these drones also operated from within the soil of Iran. So these are the things. Uh, Now coming to lessons learned for us, uh, uh, extremely important. Today we are seeing a new war doctrine emerging, and this war doctrine relates to the non-contact warfare. And in non-contact warfare, there are three, four important aspects where your country has to become strong. The first aspect is a strong air defense system. We have not been investing as much as we wanted in having a very robust air defense system. And having an air defense system only will not work. It has to be a integrated one. Integration between the Air Force and the Army. Because today, the prime responsibility of air defense in our country is of the Air Force. And Army has got its own ground air defense regiments, which take care of vulnerable areas and vulnerable points. But there is a need to integrate the Air Force air defense system with ours in terms of 𝐈𝐬𝐫𝐾𝐥, which you have actually seen, and in terms of right from S-400, Barak 8, Akash, and coming down to the Army Air Defense System, the Zu-23, the OSA-AK, and all these L-70 guns which we have in the Army. The Akash Tir is controlling the Army Air Defense System. It has got a navigation system in which it actually controls it from, and it has to be integrated with the air defense system of the Air Force. So that fine tuning was not seen during Operation Sindoor, and I think the Army and the Air Force are seriously getting into this mold. So the first lesson is the air defense system. The second is your missile or your rocket capability. I would take you back to 7 to 8 years when the PLA or the Chinese Army created the rocket force.
Okay.
This rocket force China created because China has a disadvantage of Air Force in the Ladakh region because they operate from high altitudes and are not able to be effective by the time they come to the Indian side. And
sitting ducks. They're sitting ducks because there's nothing to protect them.
Yeah. So China decided that to overcome this disadvantage, it needs to have a very strong rocket force or a missile force. And therefore, China started working on this 8 to 10 years back. Today, China has a vast array of missiles, and they can address up to in excess of 10,000 kilometers. Now, a DF series of missiles, DF-5, DF-24, DF-21, DF-17, all these. Now, India also needs a strong capability of missiles. We have BrahMos, we have Akash, and we have a Pinaka multi-barrel launcher system also with us, and we have a Pralay. We have a number of missiles, but we need in more numbers.
Sir, so the days of army, infantry, armored corps. Do you think that those days are slowly going to get over? It's all going to be very technology driven, that, beyond visual range, people are firing from their own regions. Do you see that happening now?
To a large extent, yes. But at the same time, you would need your ground forces also in terms of tanks, in terms of artillery guns, because these battles are mainly defensive, or you can say offensive defense in nature. But when you want to capture territory, when you want to go into the other country and take land, you have a bargaining with that country. I will give you example of the Russia-Ukraine war. Russia-Ukraine war, the technology has played a very great role, yes. You have used missiles, you have used drones, but at the same time, you also required your armored formations, your mechanized formations, and your infantry formations to also get inside and to occupy key and important areas from where you will be able to dominate the war. What happens in our kind of a terrain, Russian terrain is different. They have their own set piece of warfare, and we cannot template it onto the Indian conditions. We can only take some lessons from there. We have our battles in high altitude. We have our battles in mountain terrain. We have our battles in the plains of Punjab, and we have our battles in deserts, and we have our battles in jungles. So for each type of warfare, for example, jungle warfare, technology may not play a very important role because drones are not very effective. Because of the thick foliage, you are not able to pinpoint the enemy there. So you will need forces to move inside. You will need area domination. You will need your people to get inside and do search and destroy missions. And all dominating heights across the line of control or the international boundary will have to be occupied. So to occupy these defenses, you need men, soldiers, you need conventional weapons, rocket launchers, MMGs, LMGs, rifles, artillery guns for bunker busting roles also. And in terrains where you are permitted to use your tanks, like the deserts or the plains of Punjab, you will like to use your armored formations also. So, considering our peculiar terrain considerations, I would like to assess that technology, yes, it is required till the time you do not get into a conventional war. Because ultimately, a war will start from the non-contact mode. You will have drones, you will have missiles, and most important aspect is your cyber warfare. Because your first action will be to jam all radars, all communication of the enemy, so that your air force and your missiles can be launched without any interference. We have seen in this war in Sindoor how we jammed the communication of the Pakistani defense systems, the HF-9s and HF-16 type of equipment which was being used by the Pakistanis, Chinese equipment. We were able to jam them. So cyber will play a very important role. I will say that right at the beginning of the war, your cyber defense cyber agency which we have will have to be beefed up. The present form will not be adequate to meet this kind of a challenge we have, because we are not fighting Pakistan. Remember, we are fighting Pakistan with China at the back end.
And Turkey.
And Turkey. So they are going to give all the technology to Pakistan to fight the war. Pakistan doesn't have the technology. But these countries will give the technology. So India has to be geared up to fight a war. Per se, you may be fighting Pakistan, but actually you are fighting China. See, you have to integrate the system. Till you integrate a system, an Operation Sindoor was a 4-day war or a 4-day operation in which 2 days were intense, like drones and missiles. So don't judge a war or judge a capability of any country on an experience of 2 or 3 days. You see, this I have been telling in most forums. People have been speaking volumes about Operational Sindoor and saying that, I said, please don't judge an operation by only 2 or 3 days. Don't judge the Pakistani air defense systems over a period of 2-3 days, because they were the first time they were tested in war. You will find the next episode much tougher, because Pakistan would have actually learned its lesson. China is now actually giving it the most advanced air defense system, HF-19, which China does not give to anybody, does not export. China is also going to give you a stealth fighter to Pakistan, the F-35, which is not the export version. China is also giving those PL-17 missiles now, which are also not export version and which has a range in excess of 300 kilometers. So beyond visual range, 300 kilometers is a very significant capability. Because if you are within your own country, you are still very vulnerable, as we have seen by losing a few of our aircrafts in the beginning of the battle. So we have rectified that aspect, because initially we didn't want to escalate the conflict and we didn't want to target their aircrafts. We could have done it, but we avoided it, as a result of which they took the opportunity and targeted us. Had we targeted their aircraft, we would have lost those aircrafts of ours. So the point is, when you go for war, I feel a point of your doctrine and strategy, you have to say that it is war. We are prepared to escalate. We are not bothered about the losses. We are not bothered about anything. But we have to inflict the maximum penalty onto the enemy. You have to be aggressive. You have to be proactive. You cannot be defensive in your approach when you go to war. That we only will target your terror and we will not target your military. Why? So why will you not target the military? Because military is also part of the terror.
Yes, of course.
So why are you saying that you're not going to target the military installations? And they targeted yours, only then you targeted them. Why were you being reactive?
So do you think this reactive nature of ours visit ever going to change? पहले वो करेंगे, because हमला देवे, they're going to do again a cowardly attack. फिर हम करेंगे. And my second question is, why do we have to attack terrorists? वो तो पैदा मरने के लिए हुआ है. So their thought is that we have to die. So we are killing people who have actually come here to kill. Why not attack Rawalpindi? Why not attack GHQ, where the mother of terrorism lies?
Chitresh, I'll give you a small comparison. Israel carried out this attack when Iran was least expecting it, because the next round of talks, the sixth round of talks, were to take place in Oman on Sunday, if you remember,
Yes.
2 days back. So Iran was sure that nothing will happen, because the talks were still on. The talks had not been a failure. They were actually progressing, and Israel attacked. Take our example. After 𝐴हलगाम, we took 14 days to attack. And we kept on shouting, हम मारेंगे, अंदर जाके मारेंगे, हम मारेंगे. बट हमने 14 दिन तक कुछ नहीं किया. और 14 दिन में डू एक्सपेक्ट, आप सोचते हो कि वो जो 9 टेररिस्ट कैंप्स में कितने वहां पे टेररिस्ट रहे होंगे? कोई बेवकूफी होगा अगर वो वहां पे इसको बैठा होगा, बिकॉज आपने बार बार वार्निंग 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 देके, पाकिस्तान को पता था आप मारोगे, बिकॉज हमारी कंपल्शन भी थी, पॉलिटिकल कंपल्शन भी थी, प्रेशर भी था गवर्नमेंट के ऊपर कि आपको एक स्ट्राइक तो आपको करनी है. तो एंड दैट स्ट्राइक हैड टू टेक प्लेस ऑन टेररिस्ट कैंप्स ओनली. सो डू यू थिंक द पाकिस्तान टेररिस्ट वर वेटिंग देयर फॉर यू टू अटैक देम? So that is what I say. See, these media and forums and all, they don't talk plain facts. Everybody wants to glorify the government and all. Yes, nationalism is important, but not at the cost of the sovereignty of the nation, not at the cost of taking casualties yourself. And that's why I'm of the belief that we must identify our fault lines. We must identify the mistakes we made in our strategy, and we must ensure that next time we don't repeat this. Because next time, if there is a terrorist attack in India, the riposte has to be within 24 hours. The enemy should not expect also when you strike the enemy. That is the way I feel a strategy has to be planned.
So my question to you now is, what do you see are the global consequences going to be? Because Iran is a very energy rich country. Will the world powers now just wait for this war to continue? Because energy market बढ़ेगा, crude oil महंगा होगा, इंडिया भी उनसे लेता है. How do you think things are going to move now, sir?
A very important question, because there are certain areas or sea routes which are likely to get affected. The Strait of Hormuz is one area where almost 20% of the world oil trade moves into this channel. The Persian Gulf is another one area which is going to get affected. Bab al-Mandab and the Red Sea, because of Houthis, they are a proxy of Iran. They can make this area hot, and they have the cruise missiles which Iran has recently supplied to them, which are quite effective. Then Houthis, Hezbollah also is likely to get active now, because they would be now given a mandate by Iran to target Israel from Lebanon side, which is quite lesser distance, and they also have the ballistic missiles given to them. So this entire area is going to get active, and LNG supply. UAE and Qatar are the two energy sources for the LNG supply on which India is dependent. So we already seen a hike in the oil prices by about 10 to 11% as of now. I think it has crossed 80 rupees a barrel, $80 a barrel. According to estimates, if this war goes on, this oil price is going to touch $120 a barrel.
On a lighter note, sir, 80 रुपए हो गया तो हम खुश हो जाएंगे, sir.
So I know. So abhi situation is going to affect the world at large, because these are the supply chain routes which are used by predominantly the countries who are this part of the world. Asia, parts of Europe, as well as China. So China has been very smart. See, this brings us to a very important aspect of having alternative routes of supply chain. Right now, India was planning to have a base at Chabahar, because that was one sort of area in which you could challenge the Chinese dominance in the Gwadar port. And then you could use the north-south transport corridor, which starts from Iran and goes into the Central Asian republics and onwards to Russia and Europe and Greece. Then you had this access to Afghanistan, because right now with Pakistan we are not able to move things to Afghanistan via the land route. So Chabahar is the only area from where we can move our stuff into Afghanistan. And the Indo-Middle East Economic Corridor has stalled since then because of the situation in West Asia. Saudi Arabia, see, the link starts from Mumbai, comes to Saudi Arabia. In Saudi Arabia, the entire movement is by rail. And then we get into the other sea, and we join through the Strait of Hormuz also. You have to pass through, this link has to pass through that area. So the problem is this, IMEC is a very good concept, but at the speed it is which actually going, and the speed at which China moves, there is a contrast, because unfortunately we move at a very, very slow speed. Especially the IMEC was announced, if you remember, when the G20 met in India about a year and a half back, and we could have actually progressed this from India to the UAE, to Saudi Arabia, and to the Haifa, and onwards to Greece.
Yes.
But now, since Haifa is also under attack, and this and Hormuz is also a problem for us, we right now don't have any alternative routes, whereas China has started the CPEC, and in times to come you will see that Strait of Malacca, which is a choke point for China, you will see that China will develop alternative routes. Though transportation by land or rail is much more expensive than transportation by sea, but at least it is more secure.
Yes, yes.
Transportation by sea is not that secure. So these are the important factors, and if this war is prolonged, I think the rate of inflation will go up, the insurance costs will go up of the ships, the berthing cost will go up, because Cape of Good Hope has already seen 3 times the traffic since the last 1 year. So there will be fewer ports, there will be congestion on the ports, there will be a delay from 30 to 45 days, and there will be insurance costs also coming up, there will be inflation costs also coming up. So overall, the economies of the world are going to get affected.
And sir, comes our number one enemy, Pakistan. What do you think पाकिस्तान का इस वॉर में क्या रोल है? On one side, it is saying कि we are going to nuke Israel with what I don't know. They don't have the capabilities at this point of time. So ये भी वो कह रहे हैं. And while the news is that their AWACS are close to the Iranian border next to Balochistan और वहाँ सब. What is it going to do? Is it going to double cross America or what is it? Is it going to double cross Iran?
You see, Pakistan is a very opportunistic country, and Pakistan is going to wait because this nuke thing went viral, and then the defense minister of Pakistan, ഖ്വാജ, he had to give a statement that we are part of the NPT and we are not hegemonistic and we will not do this kind of an action and we are a responsible country. So he had to backtrack the entire thing. Up now, see, there are few fault lines between Iran and Pakistan. Pakistan is a Sunni country, Sunni Muslims. Iran is a Shia nation. Balochistan and Sistan Balochistan, which is on the other side of Pakistan, that is in Iran, there has always been a problem there. Terrorists are being sent from across. They caused trouble in Pakistan also. Some border outposts of the Iranian forces have been attacked there. There was a missile strike by Pakistan into Iran, and all those things, we have actually seen it happening. Now, USA is playing a very important role in Pakistan now, and that is why you would have seen of late, there have been statements from the US in favor of Pakistan. And we saw it in Operation Sindoor also, that they have been trying to say that both countries, are suffering from terrorism and things like that. So trying to sort of strike a balance between India and Pakistan. So I have of the firm opinion that in case Iran gets devastated or there is a large-scale destruction in Iran and there is a movement of refugees taking place from Iran into, say, Turkey or Pakistan, because Pakistan has a 909 kilometers of border with Iran. So Pakistan is apprehensive that in case this war gets prolonged, we are likely to get refugees into Pakistan. So I think Pakistan will play by the wire. Pakistan will see whether it is an opportune moment for Pakistan to support the US. Pakistan may not directly play a role, may allow the US to set up a base as it had done in Afghanistan's time. And a similar kind of arrangement you may find the US also doing in Pakistan and able to penetrate into Iran through a land border conducive. So these are various permutations which may happen, but cannot be for certainty. You cannot say that it will happen, but possibilities are there.
So because I mean, just crystal gazing, Iranians being Shia, and आपको मालूम होगा पाकिस्तान में थोड़ा टाइम पहले टमाटर शिया हो गया था, and the whole thing that kafir Shia kafir. So I somehow don't feel that they would be coming more towards Pakistan. They would prefer Turkey because they are not yet as radicalized as Pakistanis. Pakistani, particularly Punjabi, so their radicalization is at another level. So I was just wanting to understand, because on one side, Pakistan has always played double game, and I think अमेरिका को कोई अच्छे से संभाल सकता है तो वो सिर्फ पाकिस्तान है. वो ओसामा बिन लादेन को मारने के लिए भी पैसे ले रहे थे, and simultaneously they were also supporting him and keeping him in Abbottabad. So, sir, do you think Iran will have a nuclear weapon, and these current strikes, they have prolonged it, as you said, by 6 months? Do you think eventually the Khomeini regime will have the weapons?
See, Chitresh, you have to understand one thing. You cannot have a discriminatory attitude as far as the nuclear proliferation is concerned. Iran is reportedly to be having 70 to 80 nuclear warheads, though it has not been officially declared. Now, Israel is reportedly having 70 to 80 warheads, though it has not been officially disclosed. Now you tell me that if Iran also knows that Israel is capable of a nuclear strike, and it also knows there is an enmity between the two countries, lifelong enmity, why it should be deprived of having its own nuclear weapons for its own safety? Look what happened to Ukraine. You denuclearized Ukraine, and today Ukraine is facing the music from Russia. And time and again the nuclear threat is being given to Ukraine. So on what analogy can you say that you want to dismantle Iran's nuclear program? At the same time, you are not talking about dismantling the Israel's nuclear program. This nobody is talking about. Nobody is talking about it anywhere in any forum, that what action is being taken to denuclearize the nuclear weapons program of Israel. Let's be a bit dispassionate in this. I'm sure if there is an understanding between Israel's denuclearization, Iran may also come forward to have its own take on not going for the nuclear weapon program. Because right now, the reluctance of Iran is to that fact that in case it is deprived, it will become vulnerable to Israel. Secondly, it will lose its leadership role in the Gulf countries. Today, Iran is the most powerful militarily in the entire West Asian region. None of the militaries of Saudi Arabia, UAE, Bahrain, Sudan, Egypt, Syria can match up to Iran. And Iran does not want to lose that status.
Okay.
So the leadership issue of the Muslim world is of paramount importance in the minds of the leaders of Iran today, Khomeini and his Pezeshkian and his likes there. So I am of the opinion that Iran will not give away its nuclear weapon program, come what may, and a point of time may come, there may be a prolonged war as far as this is concerned, and we may also see the involvement of the United States in a big way. If things don't happen, if Israel is not able to inflict sufficient damage on Iran, you may find that the US also getting involved into this conflict.
So my final question to you, I'm coming back to the Indian context. If Iran actually does acquire nuclear weapons. Is that beneficial for India? Because Pakistan for a very long time have been saying कि we are the only ones, with the Islamic bomb and all these things. So from an India perspective, ये हमारे फायदे की बात नहीं है कि that there is a separate country called Iran, Shia Muslim and Sunni, completely radically two different, that Iran actually does have a nuclear bomb. And also there is an animosity between Iran and Pakistan. That's question number one. My question number two is, let's say a regime change happens. Regime change अगर ईरान में होती है, that the regime change is going to be with the blessings of America. Pakistan is forever under the blessings of America for the last 75-80 years. Then Iran is also going to be under the blessings of America. So how do you think it's going to happen? If you could just answer that, sir.
So the first question is that in case Iran goes nuclear, I think it will be to India's advantage. And why I am saying that is, it will diminish the stature of Pakistan among the Muslim countries. Because today, Pakistan being the only Muslim country having a nuclear bomb, it has a larger than life status. And second is, we historically, civilizationally, we have enjoyed very close relations with Iran. Otherwise, why would Iran allow us to come to Chabahar and to set up base there? So you have to understand that India-Iran relations are much closer than Iran-Pakistan relations. Iran-Pakistan relations are more hinged onto the nuclear aspect, because Pakistan has been helping Iran in its nuclear program. A.Q. Khan was in Iran for a couple of years doing up their nuclear programming. So if Iran becomes nuclear, I think it is and one important aspect is, if Iran becomes nuclear, you will find that the propensity of Israel time and again trying to flex its muscles against Iran will also reduce. Because Israel will also know that Iran is capable of striking a nuclear blow, because right now Iran does not have that capability. That is the first part of the question. And what was the second part? I just slipped out. Muted, you're muted.
I'm sorry. I said you've already mentioned that it is in our interest that Iran actually acquires. I would like to understand from you, do you think Iran is at this point of time opportunistic? पूरी दुनिया उससे बात कर नहीं रही. India is the only country, ये वासुदेव कुटुंबकम का ये जो drama that we do, which I think should not work. World respects strength, world respects military strength, world respects economic strength. तीसरी चीज योगा हो गया, ठीक है, वो सब ठीक है, आयुर्वेदा बेच दिया, ताकत भी दिखाओगे, दुनिया आपकी रिस्पेक्ट करेगी. Do you think there can be a time कि ईरान और पाकिस्तान मिलके हमारे साथ प्रॉब्लम करने लग जाए, because we are the ultimate kafirs?
No, I don't think that will happen. You see, ideologically, Pakistan and Iran are not on the same plane. Ideologically, they have issues on the border also, and that is why this north-south transport corridor, the Pakistan part of that, not this north-south corridor, there was a project of the oil pipeline.
Pakistan-Iran gas pipeline.
Pakistan-Iran gas pipeline. On the Pakistan's part, it has not progressed at all. On the Iran's part, it has actually progressed. Pakistan has not given much advantage, much focus to it because of lack of funds and things like that. And the CPEC was also emerging. So the prioritization had to take place, whether it was CPEC or the gas pipeline. So Iran does not expect much from Pakistan. You see their trade also, you see their military to military cooperation also. It has hardly anything. So, and we are having a more outreach towards Iran. So I don't think they're going to gang up in any way and in a position to threaten India. As it is, Iran and India do not have any contentious issues on which there is animosity or anything like that.
Okay. Thank you very much, sir. Thank you so much for your time. It was fantastic. A lot of questions were being asked by our viewers, and they really wanted to understand from you. And specifically, my research analyst Nishal was just asking me, "Sir ko bulao, sir ko bulao." So once again, thank you so much for coming on the show, sir. Jai Hind and Bharat Mata ki Jai, sir.
Thank you, Chitresh. It was so wonderful, and my thanks to Nishal also.
Thank
and
you,
to all you young people who are interested in research and who are interested in geopolitics. I think we can spread the word around through your channel for people to understand things better, because the media doesn't actually give you a correct picture. So you got to know the real facts, the real behind the scenes, what actually goes on in geopolitics. So thanks for giving me this opportunity to be part of your program, and my best wishes. Jai Hind.